Okay. All right, we're gonna get started. So I know some of you don't have a computer, but that QR code links to the guide that I'm gonna follow here on my computer. Um, so I know you can't follow it right now, but you free to follow it after the workshop is over. Should be self-explanatory. I did make it pretty detailed enough. So you should be able to pick up the basics. But I'll get started. So minimize that. Oh, also, you just came in? Do you have a computer or did you could okay, cool. So yeah, that's the QR code to the guide. So if you want to scan that, what's up?
Because of the
Let me see. All right, how's that? Let me see. I'm gonna let that sit.
That works.
That works. Okay.
No, it's lanes.
Did it work? All right, cool. So, all right. We're seeing it.
Yep.
There's some issue with licensing. So we need a license to download it on these, which we don't have. The university doesn't have. So if we, I don't know, we probably get charged a lot for it if you look. Okay, so whatever device you have, you should just try to download Unity on there first. For Windows, it's pretty easy. You can just look up on your browser Unity download, and it'll take you to the Unity's official website to download the Unity Hub, which is what this is. And then from here, you can download the editor itself, which I already have installed. For Linux, I mean, I'm running Linux. You can, if you're using Windows or Mac OS, it should just be you press a button, it downloads the installer or the, I don't know, yeah, it should download the installer and then you can just install it from there. For Linux, you have to run a couple commands to get the Unity repository into your own repository, whatever apt or SUSE or whatever it is. And then from there, you can download Hub and then the editor. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to do that. It does take a bit because it's a big download. So I know you already have Unity installed on yours, so you're good. How about you?
Yeah, I read that.
You're good?
I
Okay.
gotta reinstall it.
The hub or the installer? Or editor? Both? Okay. What about you? Are you good? You're dead? Okay. It's gonna take a while, so you might have to sit there for a few minutes. But that's about it. Yeah. Let me know if you're when you have it installed.
The same thing, the computer, but there is not one.
Okay. Also, one more thing. When you download the editor, it's gonna ask you to add some modules. You want to add the one called WebGL support because that's how you're gonna export your game to the web when you're done with the 24 hours. Because if you can't do that, you won't be able to present and you won't be judged, or you won't be your game won't even win anything. So you do have to download that or add it to your installation. If you already downloaded it without that, you can add it afterwards. It's fine. But just make sure that you have that installed. WebGL support. That's what it's called. Yeah, pretty much. These are all extensions. They call them modules, but yeah, they're extensions. The one we really need is just WebGL to export to the web. And then there's a website called itch.io. You're gonna upload it to there. You make an account and then you just submit it. So you're good. Did you add the module? So does it show up? So go to the extensions. Oh, you don't have to worry on it. So yeah, just um, pick this one. long-term support. So you just, they just support it. So now if you scroll it down, should be. Yeah, so get the chart. Yeah. This is gonna take a bit, so. This is the price. They both take a while, but this one is. Yep. Sorry, guys, she's still installing, so I'm gonna have to wait until she's up to speed. Which, these ones? It's managed. Once it shows up here, it's managed and then add modules. And then it shows up. And then it's not on the phone. So that does that mean you already have it installed? No, I don't know. That's you sure it's not in the close this window? Yeah, you already have it. It says when. So you're good. How you doing? Are you good on the, is it downloading or?
Think you guys start, it's gonna take a minute.
Okay. Okay, cool. But do you guys have the guide? Did you get the QR code?
Yeah.
I can pull it up if you want.
Okay.
That's this guide is just what I'm following one to one. So
Windows built support,
WebGL. If it's not in the list, then it might be.
oh, it's already installed. Oh, there we go. You gotta charge it.
Yeah, you're good. Here you go. It's on. Yep. Okay. All right. So. All right, what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna make a new project. So if you're in the hub already, on the left side is these are your menus. Just click project. I already have one. This was my sample run. I was just testing the guide. But you're gonna hit new project. I'm gonna move this somewhere over here. Call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna do workshop, Raj, something like that. Oh, and then pick a directory to put it in. So I already have one here. I'm just gonna make a new folder. Or actually, I'll just select this folder. And it'll make a repository or a directory automatically. So just pick wherever you want to put it. It's fine. And then create project. And then when you do that, it'll open it automatically. So, and then we'll get started. Oh, and the template is Universal 3D. That's the one I'm using. In the actual game jam, you can use whichever templates you want. As you may know, the artistic theme is noir, so that means black and white, just very simple assets. But the mechanical theme is not decided yet. That's decided at the game jam when it starts. Probably gonna pull like a chit out of a hat or something to just say, oh, this is the mechanical theme. But yeah. All right, so where did this open up? Okay. So I'm gonna close this. Or not. Okay, so it should show up with something like this. Let's see if I can. Okay. Is that showing up properly? Okay. So this is Unity, pretty much in a nutshell. On the left side is your scene itself. So every game object you put into Unity, it's going to show up there in a list. Down here is your actual project directory. So when you make a project in Unity, this is stuff that's it's going to be auto populated. You have a scenes folder, settings folder. You have a input actions asset. So it has a bunch of bindings already pre-made for movement, for looking, for UI, all that stuff. And then on this side, it just shows more options for whatever it is you've selected. So if you have like, if I select the camera, it shows its properties. So its position, rotation, scale, and then you can add more components if you want. And then up here is just settings for the editor itself. We'll be doing some stuff here as well, but, and then it's pretty much, that's pretty much it. And then in the center is just where your scene is, actually. That's how you'll mess around with it. Next, I already went over the layout, assets. What's going on? Yo, you good? All right. So on the guide, if you go to general, I think it's called general layout, project setup. There, when you scroll down, it says to download the tutorials assets. So for this, you probably have to open it on your computer itself, not on your phones. But the asset is a zip file. Those are the assets that I'm going to be using. So I will download those as well. So if I go to GitHub, Game Dev Workshop, all bunch of private stuff. So if we go to, where is it getting started? Not getting started, project setup. So if I click here, you're going to download the assets, which is a zip file. And I've already had it downloaded, but it's fine. You're going to unzip this into your assets folder in your project. So if I go back, you're going to put it inside of this folder, assets. So if I right click here and click open containing folder, it'll open it in your file explorer. So I have a folder called Unity projects. I have this one that's for this game, workshop projects. I click it, and this is the project, or this is the directory. You want to place it inside of assets. So if you double click here, you're gonna unzip it in here. So for that, I'm gonna make another window. You go to downloads. You're gonna extract. There we go. Extract, and then you're gonna find that directory. So for me, it was Unity projects, workshop projects, assets, and then extract. Cool. So that's done. And then it's right here. So it'll look something like this, updated assets. And then these are your assets themselves. And we'll have to download a package. I think it's called, oh yeah, Unity GLTF fast or something. For some reason, Unity does not allow you to interact with .gltf files, which is like the most common file format for assets, for game assets. Godot allows it, Unity doesn't. I don't know why. So there's a package for it, and you just have to download it, and you can then use them in your game. So I'll give you guys a second to download that zip and unzip it. The link should work. Let me know if it doesn't.
Loaded one.
I'll go over that in a second. But just for now, just have that folder in your assets. We'll use it. Well, I'll get to it in a second. You guys good? All good? All right, so I'll move on then. All right, so now we're going to download the packages. For that, you have to go to up here where it says window. You're going to click that. And then you're going to go to package manager. So you guys can see that right there. And I don't know why it always opens it like this. You can dock it up here. So, oops. If it opens it something like this, you can take this, click and hold. Like that. And that just makes it a bit easier to read. And I'm gonna do this a little bit. So Unity has its own registry where you can download a whole bunch of different packages. There's literally thousands, way more than I know about. So you can literally just go in there, look something up, download it, boom, it's in there. It's that easy. But for this one, we're gonna use two packages. Pro Builder, that's one, and then Unity GLTF Fast, I think it's called, which is the other one. So Pro Builder, you're gonna do is click Unity Registry, and then type here. Just start typing Pro Builder, and it should show up. And you're gonna click Install. then give it a second, let it run its thing. Okay, so that's done. And then I'll give you guys a second to download it. Sorry, I think I'm moving a bit too fast. Um, you good? All right. You good? Or is it? Oh, and it's still downloading. I can see it. Okay. And then the other one, Unity GLT, the whatever. For that one, it's not part of the Unity registry, so you have to download it from a URL. So you're gonna hit up here where it says plus. You're gonna click that, and then you can install packages by disk. You can install it with a tarball if you know what that is, but we're gonna install it by name. Sorry, not URL. You're gonna hit that, and then you're gonna type com dot unity dot cloud dot gltfast, and then you're gonna click install, and then it'll install the other package. Pretty dumb that they don't have this by default. You have to download a package to do that, but and it's a third-party package. It's not even part of the. It's not an official package either, but whatever. It's fine. So it's downloaded. I'm gonna close this tab. Don't worry about what this is down here. You can just ignore it. So why do we need these packages? Like I already said, Unity GLTF, that's for using GLTF files. ProBuilder is to make custom shapes or custom shapes. You can make cubes, you can make stairs, you can make cylinders, whatever. And the thing with ProBuilder is it comes with its own colliders and renderers. You don't have to set those up yourself. So it's whatever shape you put it in, it'll just have those in that shape. So it's just literally just one and done. It's really, really nice. Okay, so are you guys all good? And let me know if I'm like being confusing or if you don't understand something. Okay, so now I'm gonna start with the actual building. Also, one tip, please use a mouse. Trying to navigate this with the touchpad is kind of a nightmare. Do use a mouse. Or you have a mouse already, that's good. Do you have a mouse? Okay, good. I don't know why it's so confusing. It's really hard to navigate with the touchpad. I don't know why. Um, so the only thing you need to know is the scroll wheel is just zoom in and out. And then, oops, that's the wrong one. Scroll wheel that's zoom in and out. And then this is something they added recently, like a couple months ago. You're gonna hold right click and then use WASD to move it back and forth. I I don't know why. It works. It's a little bit like janky. Sometimes it lags a little bit, so be patient with it. But yeah, that's how you navigate in the scene itself. Um, so you're gonna first thing we're gonna do is place down a plane. That's your ground object. So you're gonna hit right click in the blank space on the left. You're gonna hit 3D object and then plane. And that's it. And I'm gonna name this ground because later on you're gonna have to do that anyway, so I'll just do it right now. So if you didn't see that, you just right click and then hit rename, and then you can just rename it to whatever you want. So I'm gonna hit ground, and that's it. Next, we're gonna change its size. So the way I have this set up is you're gonna make it a rectangle. So it's gonna be long this way. It's not gonna be a cube. So on the left here, I'm gonna make this a little bit. On the left here, you have your transform properties. You have three, one for position, one for rotation, and one for scale. So the size of it. We're gonna mess around with the scale. Leave position and rotation alone. We don't need to mess with those. You're gonna take scale and set the X value to 5. So it stretches it. Then you're gonna hit Z. You're gonna take Z and you're gonna take it to 12. So it looks, whoops, looks something like this. See, I told you it's very slow. But it's something like this. You're gonna have your player object here. You're gonna have a marker, a checkpoint, or whatever on the other side. So that's that. And also you want this to be in this orientation where the Z axis, that blue arrow, is pointing away from the other side. because I actually did that. I made the guide with it being the other way around, and I had to put in an edit saying, hey, don't do that, switch it. So just make sure you have that orientation set. Okay, next. So I'm gonna assume that you guys already have the assets down there, you're good to go. You're gonna open up the folder, and then these are your assets. You're gonna take this one, gyro backwards. If you guys can see that, gyro backwards, and you're gonna drag it and drop into here. And that's it. And you can also, if your camera is something like this where it's way zoomed out and you want to go to somewhere real quick, you can just double click and it goes right to it. So if you're like way out here somewhere, you can just double click, it goes right to it. So this is your player object. Now, once this workshop is over, you can head on over to that other room and thank David, who's running the Godot workshop, because he made these himself. So thank you, David, for providing the assets. Okay, so that's that. Now we're gonna take this one, which is motor, this is the checkpoint asset. So if you go into it, it's gonna load another scene pretty much. So I'm gonna zoom out. This is, my goodness, okay. Did I mention how much I hate this, by the way? You're gonna place this on the other end. Again, in the same orientation, the blue arrow is pointing this way, other way. And I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger as well. So the way you can mess around with the scaling of a object is you're gonna click the object, and then on the left side, you have these menus essentially. You're gonna click this one, which is the fifth from the top. It's called Scale Tool. And you're gonna notice that the arrows are gonna turn into cubes, meaning you can you can scale it. Or wrong one. So it looks something like this. And you can click and hold this middle one, and then just size your objects, however big you want them, or however small you want them. I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger because I think this plane is a bit too big. So I'm gonna size them up just a little bit. Or if you don't want to do that, then feel free to leave them as is. It's up to you. And then I'm gonna just click back to this so we don't accidentally, because it doesn't switch on its own. So I've had it happen sometimes where I have it as scale tool and I go to move it around and accidentally like do this or do something like that. So just make sure to switch back. Okay, so next. Oh, that's already okay. This is something nice to have. So you can actually see what your game looks like. Because this view that I have here, this is not your game camera. Your game camera is here. This is what it sees essentially. So to have that on the side, you're gonna right click on scene. You're gonna click overlay menu, and then in here you can toggle this on or off. For me, it's already on. So if it weren't, you just have to click here and it comes back. So, and then you can also orient it to your view currently. So you can hit right click, scroll down, oops, and then click align with view, and it changes to your view. It's a way you can mess around with the camera and place it exactly where you want. Because you can't move that camera around as easily as this. You can't do it. You can do it like that. So it's just nice to have that so you can always have it exactly where you want it. Okay, so that was scene setup. Are you guys good? Did that make sense? Are you guys following along on the guide? Because if there's something I skip over, you guys can go back and look at it. So, all right, I'm gonna move on to the next section of it. Okay, so now we're gonna set up inputs. Now, I didn't know this earlier, or I didn't know this last semester, so I had to make mine from scratch. But I think I mentioned this earlier, but Unity gives you one by default. This is what's called an input actions asset. And so if you double click and do the same thing, just dock it over here, it has all of these pre-made. So yeah, it has one for move, it has one for look, attack, and it also has them for the UI as well. And if you don't want to use it, you can make one yourself. I have the steps there, but I think I'm just gonna stick with this because it's already tailored to how I want it. I don't want to really spend the extra 10 minutes to make one from scratch. So we're just gonna use this. I think the default name they always give it is input system underscore actions, whatever. Um, so oops, save it. Yeah. Okay. So first thing I'm gonna do, or I'm gonna skip to the step 10 because the first 10 steps are just making that asset. Okay. Oh, all right. So IDEs. We're gonna be writing scripts. So are you guys familiar with Visual Studio Code? You are. What's up? Oh, you okay. Um, so that's what I'm gonna be using. For any the guys that are using Windows, you can use Visual Studio, not Code. It's the other one. And then there's presets in there for Unity already. So I on just use whichever one you want. But I'm just gonna use Unity or I'm just gonna use VS Code. So if you open, there's a hyperlink on Visual Studio Code on the guide. So if you click it, it'll take you to a page that tells you how to set it up. But have you used Visual Studio Code before? Like, do you have it set up already? Like on your computers, or do you need to download it? You need to download it? You have it, okay. Do you have it as well? All right. So I'm gonna open, oh geez, where's the close all these? I'm gonna open Visual Studio Code. Um, close these. So there's a couple extensions you want to download. There's only two. You're gonna go to extensions and you're gonna download, I think it's called C Sharp Dev Kit. Oh yeah, this one. You're gonna download this one, and you're gonna download one called Unity. Both of them are official. They're made by Microsoft. So they should be the first ones to pop up. Um, with the C Sharp Dev one, for some reason it bugs out if you don't have the .NET SDK downloaded. So C Sharp, ideally, they want you to use it with something called .NET. And for me, at least, if I downloaded this without that, it just give a whole bunch of error messages every time I open Visual Studio, just random ones. Um, so I would say you're not going to use .NET, by the way. You don't need to use it at all. I'm just gonna advise you to download it just so that you don't have those pop-ups on the side because they're pretty annoying. And the .NET SDK is not that hard to download. It's pretty easy. I think there's a link. I put a link in there as well. Yeah, I did. So do feel free to download it. I don't think it's going to like crash Visual Studio or cause any big errors, but just those pop-ups are pretty annoying. So do make sure to download that SDK as well. Um, Actually, I might just have you guys download it right now because it might just cause a bit of issues if you use it without it.
All that's already included.
On Windows, probably. For me, it didn't, so I had to download it separately. For Windows, it should be on there by default because it's made by Microsoft. Um, I think you guys are using Windows. I think you guys are using Windows as well. But I think you should be good then. I don't know. Feel free to double check if it's already downloaded or not. But yeah, that link is in there in the guide if you need to, so that's cool. All right, so next, we're gonna set it up inside of Unity. So every time you make a script and you double click, it'll open in the editor. So you're gonna click, oops, go to Unity, click settings. I think it was settings, or oops, hang on. I think preferences. Was it preferences? No, not preferences. Project settings. All right. What is it? Market manager. Apparently I can't find it. Give me a second. External tools, edit preferences. Hang on. So it's edit preferences, and then so edit, go to preferences, and then click external tools. And it should say right here Visual Studio Code. It should select it automatically. If not, you're gonna have to browse and then find the application itself and then click that, and then, or I guess open it, and then it'll show up here. But 9 times out of 10, it should auto-populate. If not, it should be in this dropdown. So just select that and you should be good. So I'm gonna give you guys a second. Okay. All right, I'm gonna close this, close tab. All right. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Or I guess going back, because I switched it. Input. All right. Step. All right, so you're gonna find your player asset, and down here we're gonna add a component for a script. So if you scroll down, it says new script. You're gonna click that, and then we're gonna call this player movement, or call it whatever you want, but I'm just gonna call it player movement, and then click create and add. So it's gonna add it here, and it's gonna apply it to your player object as well at the same time. So, and then you're gonna, so if you assigned it correctly, your IDE to Unity, when you double click this, it should open it inside Visual Studio, like that. So, did it open? Let me know if it doesn't, let me know if it didn't work. It should work. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Yeah. You're what? Yeah, that's exactly why I wrote the guide, so you can follow it whenever you want. Yeah, you good. It open? Okay, cool. So, uh, oh, also, if you don't have it, enable autosave. So go to File, click this, and then enable that. So you don't have to hit Control S every time. Or I don't know. Or you can leave it off, however you want to do it. It's fine. All right, so first up, we're inside of update, we're gonna type move player. This is a function name, we're gonna define it later. Don't worry about it. Move player. Next, we're gonna add 3 variables up top. So public float speed, public vector 2, so 2D vector, move, and then public, oops, let me put this next to each other, public vector 3 movement. There we go. Okay. So this vector right here, this 2D vector, when you press WASD or however, your movement is going to be recorded as 2 dimensions. So 1 for X, 1 for Y. But we need to translate it into the 3D space. So that's why we need that 3-dimensional vector movement. Now, we're not going to move in the y-axis using WASD. We're going to jump, or we're going to add jumping functionality, and we're going to move using the spacebar. But we just need a way to translate the inputs that are coming in from your WASD into a 3D vector so that we can have our character move around in the game world itself, which is why we need these two. And of course, speed is so that well, you're not you're not sitting at the same spot. You can mess because these are public. You can edit them in the editor itself afterwards. So okay, we're gonna add a function after update. Call it public void on move. By convention, you should name your functions with like that. I don't know what this is called, but you want to capitalize every word. Camel case, I think it's, yeah, camel case. By convention, this is how functions are named in C#. So we're gonna say input action dot callback context. Context is the name of the variable, and then input action dot callback context is a type. And then inside we're gonna say move equals context dot read value. So this is what I was saying earlier, where it's gonna read your input values from WASD as a 2D vector. So we created the variable up top, and then now we're gonna add a value to it. And the way this input system works is this is gonna read it continuously, like constantly. As soon as you hit play, and as soon as you start pressing WASD, it's gonna just read continuously a 2D vector. So also, oh, it's already there. Never mind. So that's that. Now I'm gonna make now we're gonna define the move player function. We're gonna say public void move player. Okay. We're gonna say movement equals new vector 3 move.x 0f move.y. And then I'm gonna type this out and then I'll explain it. So transform dot translate. I'm gonna say movement times speed times times time dot delta time, and then space dot. Okay, so what is the, oh, I misspelled it. M should be capitalized. There we go. Okay, so what I was saying earlier, we're gonna take the input from the 2D vector and we're gonna put it inside of a 3D vector, which is movement, which we define as a vector 3. Now, because I said earlier, we're not gonna move up and down using WASD. We're gonna move up, but we're gonna jump. WASD is only for X and Y movements. On a 2D axis, your X and Y are just up and down. But when you go from 2D to 3D, you have a third axis called Z. That Z axis is your forward, and then Y is still left and right. And then X is left and right, Y is straight up, and then Z is like outwards. That's why we put move.x for X. So left and right movement is still left and right movement. And then move.y is mapped to Z. So we move forwards and backwards, not up and down. And then Y obviously is 0 because, like I said, we're not moving up and down using WASD. Although you could make a game with a character where you do move up and down with WASD. It's like creative mode in Minecraft. You can move in any direction using WASD. But yeah, that's that. And then transform. So back in the editor, we're accessing these three directly inside of our script using transform. Because we're going to be attaching this script to our player object, when we say transform dot, it's going to access this directly. So it has access to it at all times. So you can access it, mess around with it, however you want to do it. So we're going to say transform dot translate. So we're going to make a change to the position of the player asset. So we're going to say movement, which is this right here, which initially is just going to be 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, or 1, 0, 0. But we're going to multiply by speed, which we're going to set in the editor. So if I said speed 5, instead of 0, 0, 1, it's going to be 0, 0, 5, obviously, because you don't want to move at a speed of 1 unit per second. That's pretty slow. So we're going to multiply by speed. And then time, not delta time. This is a way to achieve what's called frame independence. So if you don't have this, you're gonna move at different speeds on different computers that have different frame rates. So if you had 60 frames per second, you're gonna move at X speed. If you have 120 frames per second, you're gonna move twice as fast, which you don't want that, obviously. So you're gonna multiply both of those by time.delta time, which the value of that is just 1 over your frame rate. So you're essentially just multiplying by 1. And that assures that your movement stays consistent across every system, no matter where you play the game. And then space dot world means that we're always going to move relative to the world's axes, not to your own rotation. So if when I press W, it's going to always move in the direction of the world's Z axis, right? That's what we want. So no matter which way your camera's turned, if you press W, it's always going to move in the direction of Z, whichever way it's pointing. So it's not going to move in any other direction. Always relative to the game. So I'm gonna skip down. Big explanation. Okay. So we did that, and then I'm gonna close or yeah, I'm gonna close this. What's up?
So what does like that look like, the spaced out world, like if you have it or not in game?
So if I delete this, it's gonna move. It's not gonna have any awareness of the game's axes. So WASD won't when you press W, it's not gonna move forward the way you would think. So actually, you know what? Let's try it out. I don't know what's gonna happen here.
It's, I thought
What's
like
up?
Unity was to like set given inputs for WASD to like controls.
Which controls? Because the way you do inputs now is just through the actions asset and then callback. What's up?
Basically, that's the inputs that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we're using callback context, because then I'm gonna show you in the next step. We can link these directly. So your WASD is gonna come to this variable in this function directly. And there's a way to link that, but what's up?
With the world, the spaced out world, is that different from, let's say, like an FPS game where when you press W, you're going forward relative to the player, not the world?
No, I think it's still gonna be relative to the world in FPS.
Yes, game, when I press W, it's not moving me in a specific X or Y direction. It's like wherever I'm facing, I go forward that way, right?
Oh, yeah. So then you would probably,
Different from this.
I think so, yeah. So then you would probably use something else. But in this case, we're just gonna move relative to the world's axes.
Set. The way you
Mhm.
move is always constant.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, and I don't remember technically, but don't you use the input manager?
Like you put in your script if they press space, if they press W, then do this. Is that what you mean? I don't know. Okay. You can show me afterwards. I'll look at it.
Never use the spaced out world.
Hmm.
Ever. In fact, if you follow that one Unity tutorial that they have,
Yeah.
where they go through like all the different getting stuff, like their creative or whatever, they don't use that either.
Well, I mean, I followed a tutorial for this as well. So, well, the code is mine, but the way he did it was he used space.world in the tutorial. But if to you it's more intuitive the way they did it in their official tutorial, go for it.
I just don't like stand, can't visualize it in my head. If that makes
Well,
it's kind of like,
all right, so all right, I'm gonna get this input set up and then we'll see what happens if I remove this because I don't know what's gonna happen either. So this is saved, auto save. I'm gonna close this. Where's my thing? There it is. I'm gonna close. What is this? Serialized object. I don't know what that is. Okay. What in the hell is this? Did I mess something up? Um, hmm. I'm not sure. Uh, what this error is. I guess we'll find out. So I'm gonna move on. Okay, so back in your editor, if you click on your player object down here, or somewhere, where was it? Oh, never mind. You need to add another component called player input. So again, same thing, add component and then start typing player. And it's gonna show up with the first option, just player input. I'm gonna hit enter. And this is it right here. So this is a way to link your actions asset to a particular asset in your game and to have your key bindings actually work on the asset. So if you look here, it already auto-assigned the asset, the only action asset I have to this. I didn't even have to drag and drop. But once you're here, you're gonna go to behavior. You're gonna switch it to invoke Unity events. So right now it's send messages. You're gonna switch it to invoke Unity events. And then it's gonna give you this little drop down here, events. You're gonna open that, and it didn't work. Okay. Let me see if this. Why did this not work? Remove. I'm gonna add it again. Let's see. Messages, invoke. Still didn't work. Right. What the hell? This is not working. Hang on. Oh, never mind. Here it is. So when you open events, you're gonna have these for UI, I think. No, just these are here by default. Forget about them. You're gonna open player, and then all of these are linking to your key bindings, the action map, sorry, that you have inside of your actions asset. So if I open these are all action maps. One for move, one for look, attack, whatever. And so with each of these comes a context menu that's in that component. So if I open events, go to player, we're going to find the one called move, and move already has the binding set up for WASD. So that's pretty neat. You're going to hit plus, and it's going to make an entry in the list. You're going to drag and drop Jiro backwards, your player asset here. And then in the drop down here, you're going to hit no function, or I guess open the drop down. And then player movement. So if you remember, our script is called player movement, and there's a menu for it. So if I open it here, look at that. That on move menu is right there in the context menu. So if I click that, it will assign it to the action map of move. And so when I run my game and I press WASD, it's going to take those inputs and send them directly to that function. And then from there, our script will take over. It'll convert it, and then it will translate that to movement on or in the game world. And I still don't know what this error is. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but I guess we'll find out. So let's test it. I'm gonna hit run, and hopefully it works. Let's see. It's loading. It doesn't work. Oh man. Oh, you know why? Because my speed is 0. Never mind. I'm gonna set my speed to like 5, let's say. Yeah. It's gonna multiply by 5. That vector is gonna multiply by 5. And I'm gonna zoom. Oh, whoops. Why is it? Okay. Give me a second. There we go. I'm gonna set this to, what is this value? See that? Paste. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, dude. Have you guys used any other game engines, by the way? Or do you have any experience with any other ones? Nice. Is it hard? I've heard Unreal is really tough to get into. I've heard everyone I've talked to, they always tell me, dude, do not use Blender. Just, or not Blender, sorry, Unreal. Don't use Unreal. Just don't use Unreal. Yeah, every AAA game is like made in it. I know everyone uses Unreal. But it's so hard to get into. Anyways, This is third person. Yeah, that's probably why, yeah. And it moves. So if maybe that's a bit hard to see, but it does move. It's not moving? Is your speed?
See, it's like
It works on me. What's wrong? Oh, you didn't select it. Open the menu. Player movement. And then on. So that's that function you made earlier.
so like even if you're like on the there's a one you like have the script. Fine, script.
Yeah.
Whenever it ends its
It'll
action
feed values like there.
into the asset.
Yeah, or not into the function that you made. And then in the script, you can take those values and let me show you. So
Also,
What's up?
real quick, do you use your pedal mouse to move around, like the camera right on here?
I haven't tried. Let me see. This mouse is not mine. I stole it from that computer. So, oh, you can move around with more mouse. Huh. I did this workshop last semester on Mac, and on Mac you can just you can use 3 fingers and just pivot. I still haven't figured out how to pivot. Maybe there's a way to do it. I don't know. What's up?
So like how does it grab?
Oh, yeah. So that's why you use space world.
And no matter how you rotate it, it's always good.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so movement works. Oh, oops, I've closed my guide. What do you? Oh, like it'll follow WASD. It won't just stay. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's the next thing actually. See if I can get my guide back up again. Okay. So yeah, it works. It works fine. I don't know what that arrow was, but it went away as well. So we should be good. And you mentioned the WASD thing. That's the next thing. So we're gonna open the script up again, which by the way, all of your assets down here, they show up here as icons. So you can always access them immediately. If there's a script that you need to look at, but you don't remember which object it was attached to, your project is right here. You can just scroll down and find it pretty easily. But we're gonna double click. This is gonna open up the editor again. I'm gonna add one line. Yeah, one line to move player. So after this, I'm gonna type it out. Like I said, I'll type it out and I'll explain it afterwards. So transform.rotation. So same thing. We're taking that transform, but now we're gonna mess around with rotation instead of translating. So we're not gonna move it, we're just gonna rotate it. Transform.rotation equals quaternion. It's a weird word. Quaternion.slurp. Yeah, I know, it's weird name. Transform.rotation. Yes, transform.rotation, comma, and then quaternion dot look rotation movement, and then 0.1f. Here we go. Okay, so well, my guy mentioned over there earlier, when you press WASD, you're always looking in the same direction. How do you make it so that it looks in the direction you're moving in? With this. So quaternion is let me read the explanation. Quaternion is an object that's used to represent rotations in mathematics. Slurp is I'm gonna try to explain it. Slurp is a way that you can extrapolate. That's the wrong word. Or not extrapolate, but you can transition between 2 rotations. So you have this object's current rotation, which is transform.rotation, and then you have the rotation which you want it to go to. And slurp allows you to literally transition in between the two.
So it's basically like translate, but for
For rotations, yeah, exactly. And then what our source, that's not the right word. Our source rotation is this object's current rotation, how it is right now. our objective rotation is what we want it to be at when we press WASD, right? So input is transform.rotation, output is quaternion.look rotation, which that's the rotation that's required to make the object face in that direction. So quaternion.look rotation movement is a 3D vector, so it's going to calculate how much of a rotation you need in which direction, how you want to rotate to face that vector. And it's going to give you the rotation that you need. And we're gonna literally transition in between the two of them using a given strength. So I've set it to 0.1. You can scale this up to like 0.7, 0.8 to 1, where it's literally just instant. When you press W, it just moves instantly. There's no transition at all. It's instant. Or you can dial it down to 0.1 where it's really slow and you can see it moving back and forth. I've kept it at 0.1. Actually, I might change this to like 0.3 because 0.1 is a bit slow. So this is already auto saved, so I'm gonna close this, or I guess minimize it in case it doesn't work. Let it do its thing. Okay. Also, one more thing. If you want your game camera to face where you're at right now in the game, find your main camera, right click, scroll down all the way to where it says align with view. And this is the game camera, and it changed to my view. So because you can't change the camera here, you can't do anything here. If I'm literally clicking, I can't do anything. So anytime you move around and you want the camera to be at that spot, you can just go right click and then scroll all the way down to align with view, and it just changes it to that view. It's pretty neat. So I'm gonna hit play and hopefully this works. Hey, it works. So look, it's looking in the direction you're moving, right? And it's doing that based on that movement vector. So that movement vector is in a specific direction. It calculates the rotation needed to face that direction, and then it transitions. Yeah.
It's snapping to the X and Y or X and Z, right? So how do you stop it from snapping? So how do you get like a smooth rotation?
So it stays?
It's like
What wait, what did you mean?
I think it means like, not like.
it looked like it was snapping whenever you were pressing.
Like where it like slowly rotates.
So I thought like, could you move diagonal?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just hold W and A.
Please go back. Oh,
Yeah. It would always go like it will always point forward. Again, you guys can tweak around with this however you want, but
Can.
yeah, you can. You just have to you have to pick a spot to put the camera in. Then you have to calculate the off. So it's gonna be a 3D vector essentially, or a 3D position. And then you have to calculate the offset between your player and the camera. And then put that inside of updates so it always maintains that offset. So no matter how you move or where you move, it's gonna always maintain that distance. So that's in a nutshell how you do it. But I'll go over it after. If we have enough time, I'll go over it. But next up, we're gonna add jump functionality. So that input action asset already has a binding for jump. It's already assigned to spacebar. So you're good. So we don't need to mess around with that. I'm gonna skip these steps. You don't need to mess around. Skip that. Yeah, okay. So to our gyro backwards, we're gonna add a rigid body. A rigid body is what allows your objects to be affected by physics. And obviously, because we're gonna be jumping up and down, we want the physics to actually bring you back down to the ground. And not just like go off into infinity. So we're gonna add a component, call it rigid body. There's one for 2D and this one is for 3D. They don't say anything afterwards. It's just 3D. So you're gonna have that one. Next, we're gonna go to constraints and you're gonna check these two boxes, X and Z. I found that if you don't do that, when you jump up and you land, you're gonna like tilt. You're like, it's gonna like fall over or fall forward. just do weird stuff with the rotations. So just make sure that you have rotations frozen on the X and Z axis, so it's always level. It's straight when you jump up and you come back down, it's still straight. So so we did that, we did the check marks. Okay. Now we're gonna go back to the script. It's already open. All right. And close that. Oh, I closed it by accident. My bad. We're gonna go to the script. All right. And then we're gonna add a few new variables. So, well, 3 more. We're gonna add rigid body RB. We'll give it a value afterwards. We're gonna add public bool is grounded. So we're gonna check if it's in contact with the ground, and only then will we jump back up. Because this morning when I was trying this out, I don't know what I did, but it changed it so that you could just keep pressing spacebar and it'll just keep jumping up and up and up and up. So I found out later that it was never going to false, or it was always false, but not going to true, essentially. So it thought that it was always not in contact with the ground, and it would just keep allowing you to jump continuously, right? Like double jumping also, or something. Which you can keep that if you want. I just decided to fix it so that I'm consistent with the guide. But if you want to have something like that, you can keep it the way it was. But I'm gonna add a third variable, public float jump strength, which I'm gonna set to, what is it, 7F. It's a random value I picked. You can pick whatever you want. If you want really strong jump, you can set that to like 15 or 20 or whatever. But yeah, that's about it. Rigid body. So this variable is gonna hold the rigid body component that we just added to the asset. It's similar to what we had earlier with this vector2. The vector2 holds the literally the inputs that are coming in from WASD. It holds those. Same thing here. This is going to hold the rigid body component so that we can edit it inside the script. Vector2 is 2D. Vector3 is 3D. 2 dimensions versus 3 dimensions. So that depends on the mechanical theme, which we haven't decided yet. Last year, it was a platform. Like you had to make a platform. So that's why I made this thinking, oh, 3D, move the camera out. It's a platform. But this semester, I'm not sure. Could be anything. Yes.
You said it's a platformer, would it technically be like a choice between 2D and 3D?
Yeah. So last semester, people made 2D platformers and 3D ones. Yeah. It's up to you. As long as it adheres to the mechanical theme, you can just mess around with it how you want to.
Like if there's like a music designer to like an interior game, you need to collaborate with others, or can you just
I would use Git for that version control. Yeah, you would use GitHub for that. You would just upload it to GitHub and then they can all download it and then edit it however they want. And then Unity has its own version control. I don't know how it works. GitHub seems to me to be the most straightforward option. But as far as collaboration goes, that's how you would do it. Just upload it to GitHub. Okay, next. I'm gonna comment this a little bit. All right. So the way we have the function here for movement, we're gonna add one for jump as well. So we're gonna say public void on jump. And then the same argument, input action, callback context. Because again, we're going to use those same context menus, but this time for jump, not movement. So we're going to say context, and that's it. And then we're going to say if context dot performed. So I think that this will check if something came in, like a value came in for the context variable. If it did, we're going to print out a message to the terminal or to the console. So Unity has its own console. You can always check it to see, or you can configure your scripts so that every time you make an action, it always prints out a message to the terminal. So you can check, hey, when I press the space bar, did it actually jump? Did it actually register? And then it will say, yeah, jump button pressed or whatever. Or if there's an error, you can also see those in there as well. And it will link to the line inside your script, which is pretty neat. So to that console, we're gonna say jump button pressed. So every time I press space, it's gonna print this out to the console. Pretty neat. Anyways, okay, next we're gonna add inside of this if statement. So we're still inside of if context dot performed. We're gonna say if is grounded. So that's that Boolean variable from earlier. We're gonna say RB. So RB is that rigid body, which we haven't retrieved yet, but once it's here and we have access to it, we're gonna add force, which is gonna be equivalent to vector3 dot up. So vector3 dot up is just 0, 1, 0, 1 for y-axis. Vector3 dot up times jump strength. So again, similar to what we did earlier, we're just gonna multiply that identity vector 0, 1, 0 by jump strength. So it's gonna be 0, 7, 0. And then we're gonna say force mode dot impulse. So it's gonna add this force. Well, it's not a force, it's gonna change the velocity of the object. And it's gonna do it immediately as an impulse. And obviously, because of the rigid body, it's affected by the physics. As soon as it goes up, it's gonna start to slow down because it's the gravity, there's a gravity effect, and it's gonna come back down. So this is just modifying the velocity of the object by applying an instantaneous force, just immediately. So you did that, okay. And then inside of start, so start is gonna run once. So anything you put inside of start, that's gonna happen once and that's it. Update is gonna happen every frame. So if it's 60 frames, it's gonna happen 60 times per second. So inside of start, we're gonna say rb.get component. And then we're gonna say rigid body. So that will retrieve the rigid body component once, and then that's it. And then it's in the script for good. And then you can just mess around with it. You can edit it, you can manipulate it, whatever you want to do. Okay, next, we need to set up collisions. Obviously, that's how we're gonna be able to tell if the object even landed. Only then can it jump back up. So we're gonna write a function called void on collision enter. So, oops, that's not the right word. Is that the, oh, wait. Okay, never mind. So this is, oh, because I didn't see, oh, there we go. Okay. So this is a method that Unity calls by default. Every time a collision happens, it's going to call this. We're just overriding it here and adding our own constraints, our own logic to it. But when two objects have colliders, when they interact, it's going to call this. When they're interacting, when they're in contact, it's going to call another function. And when they separate, it's going to call yet another function. So on collision enter means they've just made contact. On collision stay would be they're in contact currently. And then on collision exit, they've left contact. They're not touching each other. So this is for when your object, or I guess your player, has touched the ground. They're in contact with it, right? We're gonna say, or we're gonna add a debug.log, say collided with, right? And anytime a collision happens, you always have access to the other object. So what the other object is, what its name is, everything. You have information on the other object. So you're gonna say collider, or not collider, collision dot game object dot name. And I think, oh, it's a plus, never mind. Okay, so, and then we're gonna add a tag to the ground object. So it's gonna say collided with ground, or collided with stairs, collided with whatever. Next, we're gonna say if collision dot game object dot compare tag ground. So you can tag objects with or you can give tags to different objects, and that's how you can tell what the collision occurred with. So we're going to give the ground object, the plane, a tag called ground. And that's how I can tell, hey, that other object that I just collided with, if it has a tag of ground, then we're going to do this. If it didn't, then we're going to do this other thing. The plane itself is going to have a tag ground, essentially. And so if you have multiple objects, you can manage those collisions by using this, saying, if that collision that just happened, if that other object has a tag of ground, that means, hey, we're collided with the ground. Because Unity can't tell what a ground is, obviously. So, but it has functionality that you can use to see what that other object is, right? And so with the tags, you can tell what object's what. So it just helps you manage them better, your collisions. Yes.
Hard time understanding. How do you know what words code for what?
What do you mean?
Like, you can't just use any words and think that it's gonna code for something.
I think she means, like compare tag and add force, like I think, is there like a manual?
Yeah, like different words that tell you like what it does, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. You can go on Unity and they have, I think there's a website for it where it's just one big manual that has all of those keywords listed and it tells you what the definition is. Yeah, that's the word, documentation. Yes. Yeah, Unity has quite extensive documentation. So feel free to read through that to understand what these are doing. But you can also just hover over these and it will tell you what it does as well. So I'm hovering over a game object and it tells me the game object whose collider you are colliding with, right? Or I can hover over this and say, checks if the specified tag is attached to the game object. Yeah.
If you wanted to do something and didn't know the code word for it, like you didn't know, the dot game object.
Yeah, then you would use the documentation.
Is there even is there a list in, well, this is the S code, okay. But like, is there a list of like the different ones you could choose from?
Well, here, because this has IntelliSense, it will give you the list of
Okay.
all of the options. But if you don't even have like the faintest idea of what the word is, you can then just look up documentation, and then find it in there, or just look up on Google what you want to do in Unity and then see how it can be achieved. Because what I'm doing here, there's like a million different ways to do it. This is just how I'm doing it. But yes, feel free to read that documentation as much as you want. So in here, we're going to say debug.log. And then I'm going to say player landed on the ground. Cool. And then we're going to set is grounded to true to say we're in contact with the ground. We're on the ground. Cool. And now we're going to add another function. So remember when I said earlier, there's three functions for like the three stages of collisions. When you come into contact initially, when you're in contact, and then when you leave contact. So we're going to add one for when you leave contact. It's called on collision exit. So it should show, oh, right here. So it's right here, on collision exit. If I press enter, this autofills. No, it doesn't. Because it can't spell for some reason. There we go. On collision exit. And we're going to say in here, pretty much the same thing. If collision.gameObject.compare tag ground, meaning this collision that just happened, meaning when we separated that collision that just happened with that other object, if it's ground, we're going to set is grounded to false. Oh, and also, of course, debug.log. Player left the ground. Left the ground. Cool. So, and yeah, like I said earlier, if you remove this, you'll just be able to jump forever. You can just keep hitting space and you just keep going up. But I think that's, yeah, that's it for this one. So we're gonna go back to the editor and let it compile it. Okay. Then we're gonna go into, so now we're gonna add the tag. So we're gonna hit find ground, which is the plane. Here, there's a tag dropdown, if you see that. Right now it's untagged. So we're gonna open it, click add tag. And then what did I call it? Ground? I think, yeah, so ground. And you want to spell it exactly how you had it in the script. Otherwise, it won't register. So ground, hit save. There's a tag. And also, do remember, Unity will not automatically assign the tag. So you have to assign it by going back into ground, opening the dropdown, clicking it.
You make more different, like, height for the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You have to manually, send tags each time.
You would have to manually assign it if you create it yourself. If you just hit Control C, Control V, it'll automatically have it assigned, which is pretty neat. Because then you can just add as many planes as you want. But that's only if you copy paste. So, okay, so we added the tag, and then so the same steps as earlier when we configured movement. We're gonna go into gyro backwards, and then down. I'm gonna close these. Player. We don't need this one. We don't need this one. So go into events, player, oops, player. There's one for move, and then there's one for jump right here. So, and the key bindings are already set, so you don't need to mess around with that. We're gonna hit plus, add a new item. Again, drag your player script to this, and then you're good. Open the drop down. Oops, the drop down. And then there's the other function on move or on jump. Sorry, you're gonna click that, and it's assigned. And then, oh, also, yes, I forgot about this. I'm gonna close this. Make sure your object has a collider as well, obviously. The plane already has a collider, but we didn't give one to this because we didn't create it using Unity. We just dragged and dropped. So I'm gonna have a box collider, pretty simple. There's different kinds of colliders. There's a box collider. There's a, I want to say there's a cylinder collider as well, and then there's a mesh collider. The plane has a mesh collider, so because the shape of a plane is not like very common, so you can use a mesh and then I guess configure it to the shape of your object. But we're gonna add a box collider. And I don't have this in the guide, but for some reason, the collider will not be the exact shape of your object. Like it won't cover the object entirely, so you're gonna have to change the size of the box, which is pretty easy. You can have with the box collider open, you're gonna click here, and then you see the box itself. So right now the box is like way down below, right? So what's gonna happen is if I run the game, the player object is gonna be like a couple inches off the ground. It's gonna look weird. It'll still work, but it just look unnatural. So you can just move this up, I think. So also, yeah, you can hover the mouse over these and then you can just drag them back and forth. You don't have to enter values in yourself. You can just drag them back and forth. So now this part is gonna take a it's gonna take a while because like I said earlier, this navigation is kind of a pain to use. So it's hard to tell where the ground meets these parts. Like the legs. Because you don't want the collider to be like an inch off the ground. You want it to be, you want to cover it entirely. And for that, you have to like tweak it a little bit. So
When you go, so it doesn't, like, connect with the ground.
you can, but I've chosen it to have it be exactly on the plane, like not even a bit of space. And I want the collider to be also on the ground. Like it needs to touch the plane exactly. But if you want, you can raise it up and also move the collider up as well. I just decided to do it the hard way.
Like, for the ground.
Yeah.
There are ways to check, what the top is, so you vertically connected?
I was wondering that. I don't think there is. Or if there is, you just have to like you have to guess it, I think. Um because all I have here is the scale. Scale is a size, obviously, but position. Yeah, I
The
don't.
Y, wouldn't it be the Y plus the Y in scale, like the Y position and plus the Y in scale? Yeah, look at that.
No, because the plane doesn't have a thickness, so I don't know where. Like it's just literally just flat, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't know how to find it. So you have to do it the hard way, where you have to literally zoom in right where the legs are at, and then make sure the collider is like right there, which is very tedious. Um, so like I don't know what the value is, and I kind of have to keep this. I have to get this right, otherwise it will look weird. So I think I had the value. It was like 7, I think. Points. Okay, you know what? Let's keep it at 0.454. I think that's touching the ground. Um, we'll mess around with it if it doesn't work. But so the box collider is done, and so now I'm gonna hit play, and hopefully the jumping works. So movement works. That's fine. Jump doesn't work. Great. Um, let's see.
Wait, you implement a way to pull down gravity or no?
I think I did. Let me see.
You need gravity.
Well, the physics engine is already running in the back, so I don't have to configure it, but
I remember I made my player for gravity for the player.
in Unity,
Yeah,
that's weird. Because I think as soon as you have the rigid body, you're good. Like the physics engine will just it will take care of itself. But I don't know why they also, yeah, this is what you're gonna be doing for 24 hours, just debugging. So um
I was just in the other, and also, but
it didn't work too. See, look. Okay.
it's cool, but this is part of game development, is trying to figure out, like, I'm guessing you're gonna try to figure out what's wrong now, and it's like this. Is
Uh-huh.
hard.
maybe let the player apply it to the pull down.
Oh, like a little bit higher. Like that.
Yeah.
It is off the okay. And then the collider is oh, it's clipping through the oh, okay. So I need to move this down a little bit. So not that much. Maybe that much. 40, it was 0.49. So it was 0.54 last time. Okay. Because I tried this earlier today, and the issue also then was with the colliders. Everything else was fine. And I'm gonna move that up a little bit just so it's encased. Okay, let's try it again. Nothing. Is it printing something out? It's printing a lot of stuff out. Okay. What is this? No, what? Object reference in the instance.
Are you trying to jump?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong with the context menu, I think. Or not wait. Line 46. Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover after jumping?
Well, there's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's like animations and stuff, and then how to use the Pro Builder to make
You
shapes.
can
But
skip the jumping if you want to go to something. It's 426. So if there's anything else you wanted to cover?
I mean, not really. I wanted to get this right, but I guess you know what? I guess I'll just end it early. I don't know.
Here, later, you want to stay later, you can do more.
I don't really want to stay later. Because I have. You're good? Okay. Okay.
Equally so, it is all on the document,
Yeah.
right?
You guys have the links though, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you should
Yeah.
run it up, like, just in case anyway.
There's that QR code again, take a photo of it.
You didn't get it, just the workshop materials.
Yes, workshop materials.
Is everyone here competing in the game jam?
Yeah.
Are you all signed up?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
See you next
And
week.
also, you don't need a team to play in the game jam. You don't have to have a team.
But you have to pre.
Well, you need a team, but you don't have to have a team beforehand.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
There was, someone emailed me thinking they could do it solo. Because.
No. You need 4 people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least 4.
No. Well, we're gonna try.
Or
So is 3 fine? Like,
Three should be okay, yeah. We're gonna try.
okay. So yeah, don't listen to me. He's the coordinator of the department. So
Then not, it's the more teams we have, the more presentations we have, the longer it takes on Friday, on Saturday. So we'll, and you get more people to work on your project, it could be good.
yeah.
So.
Where's it gonna be?
Encourage the 4 people team, we don't need.
where? It's gonna be in that room. Or these 4 rooms right here.
Oh, so say.
That one, this one, that one, and then that one.
Tuesday, I have to bring my PC in, correct?
Yes, or you'd have to borrow one from the
Bring a
academic,
computer if you want, you're allowed to use these.
the place in the
Well,
in the student side. But yes, you could bring your PC
I didn't expect.
Well,
because that's what a lot of people did. I know a friend of mine who is a CPT who was also competing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You can just carry it, it's fine.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, people carried like PCs, they carried monitors, keyboards, like the whole thing. They carried all of that.
So wait, these have the issue with not being able to run Unity, you said.
You can't download Unity because of licensing, yes. So
Realistically, we'll be needing to.
bring your own
bring
computers, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Good to know. Thanks. Yeah,
Okay.
I just needed to know. 'cause, like,
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can bring your own PCs, your own computers, however.
You think they'll let me use the cart at Euclid Commons and bring it over here?
Well,
What
we'll
card?
get out of it.
They have like little moving carts. that-
So like stuff like that.
Gotta ask that.
Yeah, you can ask them.
I don't know. You live in Euclid Commons?
Yeah.
I
What's
don't know.
what's the most difficult game or like the biggest? Yeah.
This one.
This one.
I didn't know, I learned Unity in a week.
We help students with programming.
Oh.
We run the event.
I
okay.
learned Unity in a week just to make this workshop.
Oh.
I had no experience with game development at all.
If you want to talk to someone who's made a lot of games, I can.
Talk to David
David or River.
or River, yes.
I'll tell you.
You see, could you?
Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Just use this as a screen.
Oh, they gotta
I think
be
so.
CSU.
Because this monitor is.
It's just display for them here.
Well, it's fun. Just come and have fun. You know,
So.
just try stuff out.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Forget.
But also do make sure to plug it back in, because they might get mad at us. Thinking we did it, not you. So yeah, but yeah, you can use it as a monitor if you want.
I'll only be needing to use that if they don't let me use the cart, they'll let me use the cart and bring everything.
Yeah. I think there was one person last,
Monitor set up.
you can bring whatever you want, honestly. I think last semester there was a student who brought his whole setup in like a black cart with a handle. He did what you were describing. He wheeled everything in the cart. So he had his monitor, he had his PC and everything. So you can definitely do that.
Is there a place to plug in? One of these rooms?
I think maybe
It just have sometimes CSU Wi-Fi doesn't.
I think maybe you can unplug this. I'm not sure.
Oh, they are hardwired. I didn't even notice. Yeah, I'll probably do that. If it lets you.
Feel free to ask River, because River is a CPT who's gonna be competing in the D. So I think, yeah, so if you're able to, just use these for this, because all of these have connected Wi-Fi.
Hold on. I'm trying to think about this. Oh, there, that's where it's plugged into. Okay.
Yeah,
Where are the
definitely.
cords at? It's just connected to the desk.
No, it's running down below
Yeah.
somewhere. But yeah,
Well, I don't already have. I don't have any idea what to do, but I want to do it, you know.
I mean, that's exactly why this
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 yeah. Is my, I didn't even touch Unity. I've used Unity once in attempt. I didn't know what's going on.
I didn't know either. I learned Unity in like 2 weeks just to make this work stuff. I had no clue. I had to use ChatGPT. I had to use YouTube. Somewhere, yeah. But it's like that's why I was pretty nervous with this. I'm gonna stop this recording.
Just bring me to 2 maybe.